It's like when you're locked into a race, you're locked into that race. If you leave, you're gonna pay for it. But I can drive for 30 minutes and get off, and then come back and pick up exactly where I left off. So that's my answer to all you truckers out there that keep telling me just do real trucking. I'm like, well, you can't stop being a trucker. Trucking is your life. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, that's
and then
nuts.
there's something about holding a shifter like this, that Eric, that nah. And then you got a drink in the other hand, and you know what I'm saying? So, hello and welcome to the Chicane Podcast, where we discuss all things in the sim racing world. I'm your host, Jason Rivera, and I'm joined here by Eric Kelly and Jeff Smart. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Doing good. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving.
Hell
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to get on the scale, man, but pretty sure, eating
Hey,
all this turkey. Uh,
I'm never
Well
scared.
worth it.
I
Well
just won't
worth
be
it seeing
happy
the
though.
family. Yeah, well worth
Hell
it
yeah,
seeing the
man.
family and stuff. So for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Um, it's probably my second favorite holiday. It's got to be Christmas. Uh,
Yeah.
but Christmas, I consider Christmas part of New Year. I don't separate the two. I kind of
Just
tie
1
them
week
both
long
in. Yeah,
So you
dude,
celebration.
party
my
the whole time, huh?
bro, my tree is up on November 1st. Puerto Ricans live here. I'll tell you.
Is your trees up?
My tree is up for real.
Good man. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Trees
Yeah, I
up,
tip
the
my hat
house is
to you, man.
decorated. It feels cozy. There's a certain thing. There's a certain feeling when the house is decorated that one time a year. The problem is taking the shit off. That is
Oh,
the
bro, it
biggest
takes forever.
problem. Take-
Oh yeah. At least
Nothing
you
to look
leave it up
forward
long
to.
enough to where you can enjoy it before you got to pull it all down.
yeah, man. So to keep it short, we don't take this down until the second week of January because King's Day on the 6th, the three
Mhm.
kings celebrating, you know, after Christ's birth, which is Christmas, and then three kings, Latino holiday, whatever. Anyways, anyways, I hope you guys had a great week. Welcome back. It's a bit of an exciting time for us. iRacing is getting a massive update very soon and a new season. So we got new cars, we got new tracks, we got new physics, tire physics, which was the last thing that this simulator needs. Honestly, other than graphics, but honestly, if you install some reshade, turn the graphics up, game looks kind of gorgeous after you do that. It's not so bad. It doesn't look 2008, that's for damn sure. If you compare
Yeah.
any other 2008 title, this is definitely looking a lot better than those. So that's what I got for announcements this week. Eric, what you got for us?
No announcements for me, man. Just enjoy spending time with the family, so not too much on my end.
All right, fair enough. What about you, Jeff? What's going on with you?
Dude, I cannot stop looking at the wind simulators. That's my
Oh,
admission to everybody.
there's always
Oh yeah.
something,
There's
man.
always something.
Always something.
I just it's talking to me. It's like just chirping. It's just chirping. Hey,
Yeah.
a wind simulator be cool. A wind simulator be cool.
Yeah,
WinSim
man.
is
Literally keep you cool.
Yeah. So that's a great yeah, that would be that's how I justify it to myself.
so we did
Yeah.
cover WinSims months back when we were covering hardware and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
again, things change and people evolve, right? So my view on WinSims have changed significantly. And it's because of Mike from the Sim Racing Den. And I know you can hear me and you're probably watching this. And it's your fault. And you were like, dude, I don't even use the air switching feature. I just have it blow air like an AC vent. That's it. And that's exactly how I'm using
Mm.
mine. I have it mapped to a switch in SimHub, and I just flip one switch and I activate the cooling to a certain speed, and it's consistent. So I guess to update my views on it, get the cheapest one you can find. It's a WinSim. It's not really that big of a deal. It adds
Mm.
immersion. but it doesn't need to be switching around and bouncing around like it was before. It's cool when you first get it, but
Mhm.
that's my take on it. You know, things change. People change. When you use things for a while, you evolve and you find where you want it to be, right? Or what you want this to be. So
Yeah, that's what when it's chirping, that's what I chirp back at it is I would just leave it on as a, you know,
you're gonna try
constant
it.
Yeah.
air.
You're gonna
Yeah.
try the air switch in. I do, however, I do use I still use it, and it's the draft effect, which is
That's cool,
awesome.
yeah.
You're behind a
Mm.
car, the wind is off. The moment you get out of the behind the car and
Oh.
out, you get a gust of wind, kind of like a yeah, it's kind of like a
Oh, that's cool.
simulated. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
what
man.
does
Well,
out of curiosity, what does a win sim like price range wise run?
um,
Oh, I think we
somewhere around the $200 to $300.
Okay, so not
yeah, I
bad.
think that's fair.
It's it's not that bad. You can find ones on Etsy.
Okay.
It's basically a computer fan affixed to a dryer hose or what do you call those little
Just
plastic
some
hoses?
conduit of some sort or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
And
you're paying a lot for not a lot of technology, but I don't know how to make it so I'd have to pay for it,
I
like
have the
most things.
SRS Hurricane, and that one has the brain that allows you to control stuff. But honestly,
Oh, okay.
if you got SimHub, it's gonna reflash that device and take over it anyway. So that's what comes. It's an
Yeah.
Arduino. As long as it's an Arduino
Mhm.
and it's
Okay.
on the list, you'll find the list online. Trust me, it's out there on his Discord, SimHub Discord. You're good. A fan's a
Okay.
fan. So
Okay.
that's all I'm gonna say.
So that might be something
Um,
cool to just kind of tinker with.
yeah, no, it's cool. Trust me, it gets hot in the rig, especially when you have triple
Mm.
screens. It will get
Oh,
hot.
I can't
It will get
imagine that
hot
right
being
now.
surrounded by triple monitors at full brightness. Yeah, after a while, it can even with AC in the house, I have to have it. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. But yeah, so glad to have you guys back here again. Of course, I'm gonna open up with the discussion today, and the first question or the first, it's not really well advice question or discussion. Uh, the one important thing to remember while racing against people that are faster than you. Now, when I say this, and I'll start with Eric always.
Mhm.
Eric, what is the first thing to you that you need to remember about racing against people that are faster than you? You know they're faster. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So what are you when you're behind the car, you're driving. What's
If
going through your
i-
mind?
if I'm behind them, the thing that I have to remember is my vision, to keep my vision down the track and not on them. Because when I start looking at them, I start getting off my line. I start following them and trying to keep up with their pace. But if I keep my vision on the track ahead of them, then I set myself up. Basically, if I'm like running a time trial or a quality lap or something like that, I'm there. I guess there might be like a little bit of rough air being behind them, but for the most part, if they're faster than me, I'm able to go as fast as I can go. I can go flat out like I'm running a quality lap. I'm just taking my turns and keeping my lines, hitting my apexes as best I can, and not really worrying about them slowing me up.
That's
It's
good,
actually the
man.
best kind of scenario to be in if you're gonna be behind somebody.
Okay. All right. And what about you, Jeff?
I think mine is just I keep when it lately it's been when it happens, I just tell myself drive your race. Just
Yeah.
drive your pace. The rear view mirror is small for a reason. Pay attention, look at the track in
That's a
front of
good
you,
point.
hit your braking points. Um,
Yes.
now I will, if he's faster and I'm getting a blue flag type of he's faster, that level faster, I'm gonna do
Mhm.
due diligence and I'm just gonna take a quick boom, I'm off the racing line and I'm gonna get back on it, but I'm driving my my race. And that's what I've really
Yeah.
tried to focus on. I think this whole season has really been drive my race, make other people make a mistake, either trying to pass me or me putting pressure on them as I'm just driving my pace. I feel like the whole last season, I was like, I was being affected by other people. Other people weren't affected by me. Does that, if
Right.
that makes any sense, kind of be the,
Yeah.
I guess there's a saying, like, in a sense, I get, this for being, having the sayings is be the thermometer, or be the thermometer, or be the barometer. I forget what it is. Make other people change to me, not me change to other people. Um,
Yeah.
and I have found that that's done me a lot of good. Is like, hey, if he's faster, as long as I'm just staying on my lines and I'm not doing anything erratic, he's going to go past me. And that's all I'm
Yeah.
asking for somebody that I'm faster than them is, hey, just don't be erratic. You drive your line. I'm going to go around this corner faster and carry more speed and get you in the straightaway.
There
So
you
it's
go.
just drive your race, and just try to stay clean and consistent. And
Yeah.
that's kind
I
of
agree.
where I'm at with that, with people that are faster than me.
So between the two of you, I agree 100%. I mean, I've always said that, right? Drive your line. Don't try to overdrive above your skill level. If a guy is faster and he's in front of you, if you try and follow him, you're not used to taking that turn like that.
Yeah.
You
Off
know,
the track.
yes, you're going off, you're spinning, and it's making you slower than what you can be. It's decreasing your potential.
Yeah.
So now when a car's behind me and he's faster, if it's a blue flag, yes, let let him go, or let that car pass or whatever. But if he's if it's not in a blue flag situation and he's slightly faster than me, I'm closing the door, like, over and over, closing the door. I'm watching
Mm.
for him to take a risky maneuver, and I'm closing the door on him. But eventually, that's the whole nature of racing. Is
Yeah.
racing is a fight. It's a battle.
To what I said,
It's
Yeah.
if it's the last lap, Jason, 100%. I'm just letting a dude pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. All right. That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear.
Yep. Pretty synced up on that.
All right. So, Jeff, what you got for us? Excuse me. Excuse me. Eric, what you got for us discussion wise? My bad.
Yeah.
Jeff
I was
Jeff's
about to
Jeff's
say,
got
man.
the gold though. He's got the golden topic this week. But
Oh
Eric,
yeah.
what you got for us, man?
Yeah, nothing. Just a quick kind of thought process. I know last time, we talked about no hezzy and that style of driving, more of a kind of fun, kind of laid back style of driving. I wanted to know what's y'all's favorite type of driving. Right, you got your track driving that's a little bit more serious, more focused, more demanding, and then you got like more casual kind of driving. How well, I guess what's your pick? Rally, F1, like what's your favorite driving type essentially?
Jason, you want me to go first here?
Yeah, man.
I think if I my favorite, so I guess there's a couple different answers to this. Is obviously I like formula racing,
Mhm,
and if I got to pick any race, to race on iRacing normal schedule, it would probably be a something with a B or a C class and a super formula or the super formula lights, or even the SF 23. That car's that's a handful. So maybe not that one, but
mhm,
those other ones in a B or a C class race on a track that I'm very familiar with, I
mhm,
think would be my favorite. And the reason is, and this isn't a knock on anybody with a D class. I just feel like once you get into a C and a B, people have done a lot of driving at that point where
mhm,
I can go wheel to wheel with somebody, and I think they could do it with me. They feel trust that I'm not going to touch tires with them. We can be wheel to wheel around a handful of turns together, and we're not going to take each other out. I'm going to give him his line. He's going to give me my line, and whoever goes around the corner faster is going to get it. You're not going to get a block turn or somebody just dive bomb you in corner one in a B class race. It just doesn't happen.
yeah.
And a racetrack that I was very familiar with, where I was comfortable not driving on the racing line, so I could take somebody, pass somebody, on not the fastest racing line, if you will. So I don't know if
Mhm.
that was kind of what you're looking for, but if I had my way, yeah, it'd be a B or C class, Formula Light, some type
Well,
of
like,
car like that, F3. Um, but
so I know when we talked about No Hezzy, you kind of mentioned that being fun as well. So you put driving like driving an iRacing over, maybe something you might do in Assetto Corsa or something like that as well, like kind of street driving.
yeah, I mean, Eric, you kind of know, some of the things I've done in my past when it comes to adrenaline. I like competing. I like getting the
Yeah.
blood going.
Oh yeah.
And that does it for me. When you're going wheel to wheel with, you know, Joe from Kansas, like around the
Yeah.
track at Spa or wherever, um, that's
You
what
got
I
a
get in the
little.
ring to do. That's what I spent the money for. That's what
Mm.
gets me going. But don't get me wrong. There's some days I'm like, I'm just gonna jump in and just jump in the BMW M4 on a no hezzy thing and just cruise and zip in and out of traffic and you know
Yeah.
uh there's some days I jump in ACC and just jump in a GT3 and just whatever track has a GT3. It just is. Those are if I had to pick a race to do or a car and a track and a race for the rest of my life without being able to change, that's what it would be. It would be a C class, B class, some type of formula race on a track that I'm very familiar with.
I
Mm.
feel you. Okay.
All
What
right.
about you, Jason?
So my answer is always complex. It's for me, it's a mood thing. It's a mood
Mm,
thing. So
yeah.
lately, I've been on this Assetto Corsa thing.
Mm,
Why have I been on there? Because of this active pedal. The active pedal is just impressing me, and it's gotten
mm,
me to find different things and look for different details. So it's like a review, but it's like a consistent review. It's like, oh, I didn't know like this, this car could do this, or the,
mm.
I can actually feel the pads touching the brake. It's like that. So for
That's
me,
dope.
I know, dude. Yes, you could feel the pad
Yeah.
when it jumps off on a ABS. It re-engages and it re-engages kind of like soft.
That's
It's a lot.
wild.
Mm. Yeah, dude.
That's
And it,
that's crazy.
yeah, it's hard to convince people to go out and buy this thing. I understand that, but I'm just trying to say, like, I think it's a mood thing. I think it's a mood thing. Now, my favorite all
Okay.
time is
Yeah.
definitely GT3. GT3 is where my heart is. It's what got me into sim racing.
Yeah.
Now, trucking is what actually got me to build a rig, which you guys know the story.
Oh
And that
yeah.
was because
Yeah.
of Snow Runner and wanting
Hmm.
to drive big trucks and get them out of ditches. But I've always been, yes, that's all you do, bro, in this game. I swear to
Oh
God,
yeah.
you go in the ditch and you're hauling this trailer through a mountain and it's snow and you got a winch and you hook up a winch to a tree and you pull the truck out little by little. One time I got stuck and one of my boys was online the Xbox back when I was on the Xbox and
Mhm.
he was drunk. He's like, "Yeah, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm playing Snow Runner, man, chilling, man, listening to some '80s." And he's like, "Oh, I'm stuck right now." And he's like, "Are you stuck?" He's like, "All right, I'll jump in there." So he jumps in my game with a freaking I don't know what he had. I don't know what kind of truck it was, and he hooked up a winch to the truck and pulled me out.
Oh,
So
that's
he
cool.
pulls me out the
That's
ditch,
wild.
and we're going up this mountain in somewhere in Alaska or some shit.
Mhm.
And he ends up flipping the truck. It hits me. We both flip, and I end up in the lake down there, and that was it. So I thought it would be cool to put a wheel and see how would this feel. Like that's crazy.
Mm,
So that's why I
yeah.
went with a basic setup, a huge, you know, but that escalated, right? Like everything, because now you
Like
start to
like a
like
rocket.
yeah. So it's a mood thing. It's a mood
Yeah.
thing. I still truck. American Truck Simulator was another thing I got into. I have 800
Yeah.
hours into the game. You can look it up on my Steam profile, but that's kind of private. If you could find me,
Yeah, I can
you can
vouch
find.
for it.
I
I've
believe
I've seen it. It's
I say I
it's
believe you.
it's unbelievable. It's
Yeah,
something to see.
the mileage on the truck is actual real
Yeah,
mileage
I
that I've
know. That's the part that's wild.
so I just love jumping in there and feeling like there's this open world and there's no end to it. And it's a game, it's a
Mm,
sim that I can turn off and go back to my life whenever. It's like when you're locked
yeah.
into a race, you're locked into that race. If you leave,
Mm,
you're going to pay for it. But, I can drive for 30 minutes and get off and then come back and pick up exactly where I left off. So that's my
oh yeah.
answer to all you truckers out there that keep telling me just do real trucking. I'm like, well, you can't stop being a trucker. Trucking is your life. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
crazy.
So
Yeah, that's
and then
nuts
there's
to
something
say.
about holding a shifter like this, that
Yeah.
that
That
Eric
knob.
that now and then you got a drink in the other hand, and you know what I'm
Hey.
saying? So it
Yeah, man.
I'll what do you say this? I'll piggyback off Jeff. If I had it my way, the way he says, it'll be in a
Mm,
Porsche. No, no, not a Porsche.
mm,
Excuse me.
mm.
It'll be in a GT3 car, any of them, because I like all of them.
Okay.
It's like I haven't found a GT3 car. I recently found the Mercedes AMG because of Daniel Morad, and now I
Yeah.
end up loving the Mercedes now. And it's exactly how
Yeah.
he said when you do the finesse turning, it's
Mm,
literally a finesse turn. It's one to one. At least in iRacing, even in ACC is good too. And I
yeah.
would do it on a familiar track. Same thing as Jeff. It doesn't have to be Suzuka or what is this other one? Virginia. Virginia's a good track
That's a
that
great
Jeff
track.
loves too. Yeah, it's a good
Mm,
one.
okay.
So, or the Fuji Speedway, which I'm a huge fan of.
Ah, yeah.
Doesn't have to be. Um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now at this stage. What about you, Eric? What about you?
So for me, definitely GT3. Um,
My man.
but yeah,
Breaking my heart over
right.
here.
Y- Yeah, and just because I don't have much experience racing Formula, Super Formula, especially in iRacing.
It's
Haven't
fun.
haven't
Don't
gotten
don't
there
sleep
yet.
on it. They're
Yeah,
both
but
good.
yeah, when the little bit of Formula racing that I have done in GT7, it was a blast. Like it was crazy. Just experiencing the amount of downforce and things that you have in those
Yeah.
cars is crazy. But as of right now, GT3, I, I like Ferraris, like
Okay.
specifically the Ferraris. Something about the fact that they feel like they're trying to kill you that's
Yeah.
kind of kind of gets you to lock in. Just and it they sound like they're trying to kill you too, like a I don't know, like a angry hornet's nest
It's got like a
when they're
visceral sound
driving.
to it,
No,
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
not wrong, dude. Because
yeah,
if you look at the TC levels on a freaking
yeah.
Ferrari, they're way high.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
It's a
you
you
can't
can
run
literally
them.
feel
Yeah.
torque steer when you hit the hit the
And
gas
they're
if you
super
don't have
feathery.
like
They're
the
light. They're very light. They any
yeah
little thing upsets the damn Ferrari. Not like the
yeah.
Porsche though. Anything upsets the you breathe on the Porsche wrong. It wants to freaking ram you into the wall or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. You blink too hard. You open your eyes, you're in the wall in the Porsche.
I'm telling you,
But yeah.
if you try out that Super Formula 23, that is it will burn out going uphill like in third
Oh,
gear.
sheesh.
I don't
I
know,
might
man.
need
That
that in
that
my
thing is
life.
a torque freaking disaster. Like that thing is crazy.
Yeah.
So, well, that's good to hear, man. I like to hear the different perspectives. It's always been. I know Jeff when he got into sim racing, he presented formula to me like this is what I want to do. But then
Mhm.
I got him into ACC, and he spent months on ACC. But then he found iRacing, and I think iRacing was the one that really settled him into to racing formula this much because he was on the F1 games, the EA F1 games,
Mhm.
and ask him if he goes on to that, and I don't think so, man.
No, I don't think I've opened it in
You can uninstall
4 or
that, man.
5
You'll get the
months,
storage back,
6
Jeff.
months.
Yeah.
I
I
should
say
at least
get
23
reclaim your
or 24.
storage, man.
Yeah. I'm
Shoot.
waiting for Evo to come out, and then I'll install another
Dude,
another
Evo, we're a month
Oh
away
yes.
I know.
from
Yes.
Evo's pre release. I'm gonna
Yes.
have to call in sick. I'm gonna have to.
Well,
I'm telling
something
you
gonna have to happen.
something. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to. I got
Yeah.
COVID. I don't know.
I'm telling you, it's still out there, man. It's gonna be out there,
It's gonna be out
specifically
there.
around January 16th.
That's right.
It's gonna be
And the
running rampant.
chances of me getting it are super high.
Right
Oh,
around release
extremely
date.
high.
Right
Right around
around
100%.
midnight release date.
Yeah.
That midnight release, bro. For
Yeah,
all
you
you
did
old
it to
school
me.
gamers that know what that is, remember that? The midnight
Oh yeah.
struggles. You used to go in a
Yeah, man.
GameStop at 12 o'clock at night. It'd
Stand
be a crowd
outside.
too. You trying to fight through people, trying to get home because you want to play the game, and they're over there standing in the way. You're like, get out of my way, man. Get out of my way.
Oh man. Yeah.
And then you go home and
Yeah.
the server's down. So anyway, because that could happen to us actually with Evo. We could literally download the game and the servers
Yeah.
be completely trashed, or the game crashing, or just it's a pre-release, guys. Literally,
Yeah.
don't
See,
expect much from it.
that's why I need a week. That's why I
Exactly. You
need
need a whole week.
Yeah, I think we should
a
all curb
week.
some expectations here when that comes out. I think a lot of people putting a
Yeah.
lot of stuff out there for some pretty high expectations. I think
Yeah.
what
I
you
feel
said is
like
probably people should just take a deep breath and be like, let's take this thing how it comes here.
yeah. Yeah, I think there'll be certain
Unless Jason,
experiences
you're
that are fleshed out, but I think as far as like the whole game, expecting it to be 100%, definitely not.
What you got to say, Jeff? Let
oh
me
no,
hear
you
you.
looked like you were ready to say, no, this thing's going to be mint,
Well,
as the kids here say, cherry for that. Then when it comes out,
oh, Cherry,
Oh,
that's
shit.
right.
I hadn't heard
So,
that.
here's my thing. We have so many other Sims.
I know.
Mhm.
We're about to go into iRacing update here in a second. Do you think that it's not gonna? It's not like we're hurting for a new Sim to come out. This is
Mhm.
an addition of something that, okay, great, bring it on. Yeah, it's cool. It looks great. But we got ACC, we got iRacing, we got Assetto Corsa that has, I don't know, a million gigs of content that you can go into and race. You know,
Yeah.
you got GT7 that just recently got an update. Um, it's not like we're hurting for content.
It's a
So
great point.
Yeah.
that's kind of where my medium is, and that's what's going to keep my sanity and not lose my mind. But
Yeah.
like if
Especially for
iRacing
free.
went down or something like that, and ACC,
Yeah.
both of them went down at the same time, and all I got is a broken game, I'm gonna be mad. So
Oh
with
yeah.
that, speaking of iRacing, over to Jeff, please. Jeff, give us the details. I know people have seen it. It's on the internet. It's everywhere. But we want
Mhm.
to cover here on the Chicane podcast and have a
Yeah,
discussion about it.
yeah, Jason, you opened up with it during some of the announcements here, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper into it here, and I'm going to share a slide here so everybody can take a look at it as I'm talking through it. And these are the updates that are coming out for the new season. And I'm just going to walk through these. Listen, if I, touch on something that is interesting and you guys want more detail, I'm not going to plan on going incredibly deep for each data point here. There's plenty of places you can jump on here and read as much as you want. Or there's, other people that have covered this in much deeper detail, but we'd be definitely remiss if we didn't cover iRacing's update with the new season that comes here. So I'm going to slowly work through this, and we'll talk about it here, gentlemen, to see what you guys' thoughts are on this. So first thing we're going to cover is
Talk cars, bro.
usually as everybody wants to
Let's
know what type of
go.
cars we're talking about,
Mhm.
right? So here's some of the new supercars: the Camaro Gen 3, Mustang Gen 3, some BMW M2. Um, and this is
So
good.
the
This is good news for everybody, right? The more stuff that's there, kind of appeals to more people. Um, yeah,
so
it's
can I
just good
can
news
I
all
can I
around. You got
butt
an
in here, Jeff,
NSX.
real
Go ahead.
quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So just a caveat with this BMW M2 that you got on the screen, it's a free rookie car. It's gonna come
Hey.
free, and it's the first car. It's the first, and you know what I'm saying. It's the first of its kind. You know what I'm saying. So it's gonna have its own. I'm assuming it's gonna have its own event, like a M2 event.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
BMWs. You know what I'm saying? All M2 BMWs only. And yeah, it's kind of exciting for rookies that want to jump into a modern car. So
That is
my
super
bad.
cool as a rookie is you can jump in
Yeah.
and grab a cool car like that, not just,
You don't have
you
to
know,
pay for it.
whatever. Yeah. That's a great point, Jason.
I like it.
And the two
That's
other
sweet.
cars you scrolled through as well.
Yep.
I think
The
um,
Mustang and the Camaro,
if you
Gen
buy the
3s.
legacy content, do you see that up there?
Yep.
See, the
The
former cars will then be classified as legacy. The two former cars. So you know what that means, right? If you buy those two cars right now, iRacing will refund those in full, and you'll basically get two free cars for the price of none. Basically, it's free.
Mm.
You put the you buy both of them, and when this update drops, you'll get the credits right back into your account. And what does that do for you if the cars are legacy? Well, the cars are legacy, you can't really use them. But the more content that you own in iRacing, you need to own 30 pieces of content to get a permanent 20% discount in
Oh.
iRacing. So
Hmm. Okay.
if you are new, this is 100% you need to go and do that. As a matter of fact, I might go and do that today. I mean, I don't care about these two cars, but it's nice to have them, if I want to test them. You can still test them out. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the
sorry,
BMW.
I had to put that out because that's like some people miss that, you know.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. So, Ferrari's got a new car coming out. This thing is
Who? The
wicked.
P1?
Yeah, the 499P. Um, look at the level of detail on here.
Well, that's nice.
I
Yeah,
mean, you got
man. 16 car deep endurance race, as well as the BMW M Hybrid V8,
Oof.
so
reconfigured and reconstructed. This is going to be a huge update. Huge. That's insane.
yeah, I mean, look at the level of detail they have in the motor here. Like, I never knew that they had this level of detail, like, behind just the shell of the cars they
Oh,
have.
under the hood, yeah.
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 So, but look at, like, the level of the carbon fiber here on the mirrors and stuff. That's like, this is part of what I hope is the graphics update that's coming out that I'll get to here shortly.
Mhm.
But if this is the level of detail we're getting in the cars that's coming here, uh, gentlemen,
I am with it.
let's go.
Yeah,
So, all right, so there's some of the updates for the cars. Um, they got some new tracks that are coming out. Some of these. Excuse me, I'm going to mispronounce this track in the UK is Thruxton. I'm probably butchering that. If so, if you're from the UK and know that track, please forgive me.
that's how I would read it.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Same here.
So there, that's good.
3.79 kilometer. Jesus. It's a big track.
Yeah, but it's cool that they're looking at some of the graphics here, showing you the level of detail and fidelity that these new tracks that they're, especially when they're using like the drones and stuff that are, the accuracy that's starting to be used when they map these tracks is really incredible here.
Oh yeah.
They got another one. I'm not going to go through all of them here. Stutson in South Dakota. And here's one that I was like, no kidding, like 30 minutes from a couple when I was at back in the East Coast for Thanksgiving here. New Hampshire Motor Speedway is getting a refresh. So if you read a little bit more here, iRacing is looking to do a refresh for a bunch of the NASCAR tracks to bring them up to specs. So that's one thing we
Hmm.
don't really cover too much here. Maybe we should. My brother jumps in my rig and does all he does is NASCAR, and it is the most boring thing, but he has a blast doing it. So
Yeah.
it's a huge following in iRacing. We just don't touch on it too much. We should probably maybe maybe do some type of rookie race in NASCAR. That would probably be
We
interesting.
No.
it's a
But
wreck fest in
I bet it
NASCAR,
is. I
bro.
bet it is. So,
Yeah.
Like
Las Vegas is coming up on a refresh here. And another one I saw, I don't know if they got down to it, is I think they do. I'll save that info for when we get further down. Some of the things that you're doing is a debris refresh here. You can read about this. I want to get more into some of the interesting things here. Updated AI behavior. So Eric, you were talking. You've been doing a lot of AI racing, so hopefully next season you'll see maybe a more consistent AI race car that you're racing against, or maybe here shortly you'll be racing against other humans. But nonetheless, that'll be a good, cool little update.
Yeah.
We're always kind of getting tire model enhancements, which is cool. Um, that just adds to the realism, the tiger degradation, etc. They're talking about compounds and the constructions of how the tires are made. The level of detail that is like going into some of these sims now is just like unprecedented. Um, so here's where it gets interesting is where we start talking about the graphics enhancement. Now, what I did some reading and listening to some other people is I don't think the graphics engine enhancement is coming out with week one of the next season. I think they're going to roll that out here as the season goes. So don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how we're looking here. So, but here you guys can look to see some of the detail. Look, you can kind of see some of the shadowing up in the building and off the car reflections. The colors just look a little richer. But Jason, you brought up a point earlier about is it the reshader? It does
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
great
reshade,
job.
reshade
When I
dot
did it,
me.
it
Yep.
really just gave it a nice facelift,
Yeah, and it brings out the dynamic range and makes the colors pop, the shadows.
and
So
it's
I mean,
you can adjust it too. It gives you the flexibility to
right.
to add where you think your monitors are kind of missing and subtract from things that you think are too strong. So
Yep. And you can use that on any sim, just so you know, if you
yeah,
want to enhance it
Oh.
further than what it is.
Oh,
But
really?
iRacing definitely needs it. So
so we're gonna keep going here. So they're just talking about some other things. And this is the one that kind of has. There's two things here that are I would say the more of the iRacers talking is eventually we're going to get a new UI, and this is like it's sad that this is like earth shattering, but the UI that iRacing has right now is I'm gonna
prehistoric.
call it how I see it, embarrassing. Okay,
Yeah,
like
it's pretty
we
bad.
call it straight no chaser.
Pretty
It's
bad.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
So, dude, like this looks nice. I think that looks clean. It's updated. Um, yeah, so I'm excited for that to come out. But here's, gentlemen, is where I'd really like to talk about. So they got some overlays, some updated overlays. I think right now I try not to use any overlays. I just like keeping the realism of not having things that I wouldn't if I was sitting in a race car. So I just use the black box showing, and I can wheel through it with one of my wheels on my wheel. But anyway, so here's where it gets interesting is they have a lot of these graphics that you can use for the telemetry of your car and the race.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
there's not a lot of detail about this, but if these are things that you can move or select in iRacing and move them to your fourth monitor, I'm going to ask you guys, does this
Mhm.
compete with the lovely pit wall and the other companies out there that provide these at a fee? Is this going to be? Are they moving into that, or because this is a pretty good looking, appealing, and it looks like you can customize it where your windows are sitting. What are your guys' thoughts?
Um,
Uh,
go ahead, Eric. I'll let you go
I,
first.
yeah, I would say I don't have a fourth screen, so my experience with the lovely pit wall, I'm familiar with it, but I haven't had a chance to use it. But I mean, it seems like it'd be a definitely a competitor, and then having something that's native to iRacing, there might be some advantages there.
So my thing is, while it looks nice, you know what I mean. It looks cool and everything, but it's only for iRacing.
That's
You know,
Yeah,
a very very valid point.
so
yeah,
lovely pit wall is the lovely pit wall for everything that's that has the data, and it's
yeah,
being updated constantly. So something like this is kind of what you get is basically what I'm viewing here. So, but as far as future development, like the development, lovely dashboard development versus iRacing development, there's no comparison.
Oh, it's not even close. I mean,
Yeah,
Constantinos
mm,
is
Constantino's is that's all he's doing. His focus, all his time is on. what can I do with this bit of data that's not being used, or what can I display here that
Yeah.
can enhance the user experience. However, my opinion, it's a great start in the right direction for people that are just starting out and they don't want to
Mhm.
shell out for a subscription. This is an option. So it's kind of cool to see it. Will I use it? Probably not. Just being straight up. Because I like
Yeah.
having a physical display with a dashboard in it that has all this data in it already. So,
Yeah. That makes sense.
and nothing says we can move this up to a top screen because when you play iRacing, it's only using your triple monitor.
Yeah, it doesn't even quote unquote
Mm.
know that there's a fourth monitor there.
Exactly. So these windows can float.
Hmm.
Then you're right, they can float around the screen, but you won't be able to move those past
Yeah.
the borders of the game.
Yeah,
Is what I'm
it'll be
saying.
interesting to see what iRacing does for this. Is this
Or
just
what they
gonna
do, right? Exactly. I might be
yeah.
wrong. I could be wrong, but even if you could, I don't think this is a contender at all for lovely dashboard and his ecosystem. Now, do you
Mhm.
need it? Um, I'd say at a minimum, you need the dashboard. At a minimum, the lovely pit wall is very good. It's very nice to have, but it's not a must-have. You know, again, like remember how you guys told you things evolve, things change, people change. So your needs change with that. And I
Yeah.
find myself not using a pit wall no more because I have all these other peripherals around me, but that's my situation. Jeff's situation is different. Eric's situation is different.
Yeah.
So,
It's
Yeah.
almost
I get
like
it.
they were trying to compete directly with the pit wall. They got the map, they got relative, they got the pedal pressure
Oh yeah.
stuff, they got the wheel
One
moving. Like it's like
100%.
they I mean,
Yeah.
you're not fooling anybody, but I see where you're going, iRacing. I see where you're going. Uh,
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna keep moving on here. Um, so
assuming these are not just widgets and they're just updating the widgets that are currently available because that might be the option too, Jeff.
so I think these are overlays that you can have. Like right now, you have the black box that you can have up there.
Uh-huh.
So this will be like a black box that is on your screen, like on your three screens, one of your
I
three
would use one of
monitors.
them. And
Hmm.
you see that telemetry, the gas and brake and the
Yeah.
graph.
Yep.
That's what I would use to practice to see um to trail brake monitor, even though I have a trail brake monitor. But if I didn't have any of that other equipment, that's what I would use. Not to race, but to practice. But yeah, continue.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. Fair enough. So here's some graphics they're talking or some
oh,
anticipated before and after with their new lighting. Um,
so after is on the left, right? Okay.
yes. Yep. So
Yeah, looks way better.
not a lot of night racing in iRacing, at least in the Formula. I don't know. I can't. I'm not going to speak for any other one, but very little driving at night. So I don't know if I'm going to see a huge bump in with the rendering of light, but I'm sure it'll be
Hmm.
the graphics is graphics, and I'll take it no matter where I can get it. But
Yeah.
In endurance races is where you see night the most.
oh, fair enough. You know,
Mhm.
That is true. That makes sense.
so also there can be some additional update for the force feedback. So that'd be great. Getting more
It's
detail, you'll be
massive.
able to feel more detail in your wheel.
Yeah.
Look at the
And I guess
tire patch.
those that have it on in their some type of haptic in their wheel, and always like, and this is like I think why iRacing is kind of the premier sim, if you will, with their tire models and braking. They're pushing another um, tire model, and they talk about like how it's made and the compounds and the construction of the wheel, how it affects the road. So
Hmm.
if you're into that, come in here and you can read all this stuff about the wheel, the new tire model that they're looking to do for some of the
Oh,
cars.
right there, Jeff. Single player career mode coming to iRacing.
Oh
That's gonna
wow.
be amazing, bro.
Do you
Yeah.
think it will be
That's gonna
because
be hell yeah, bro.
be,
I
because
love career
ACC
mode.
has. I mean, I guess I would like a career mode potentially in the formula, but
ACC's
if I was
career
going to
is
go,
trash, bro. You know that.
eh,
It's like 5
Yeah.
races.
Yeah, it
fair.
sounds
I
like
guess
they're
that's
getting
fair.
ready for Assetto Corsa Evo. They're supposed
Evo,
to have a single player like
this is a
progression
direct answer,
type
bro,
thing.
to them.
That's probably very
Yeah,
accurate.
Like,
So
yeah,
yeah. I love the campaign stuff, like in the rally games and the F1 games. Their campaign is dope.
yeah.
So, so back to the NASCAR. It seems like iRacing is really jumping into a big update to a lot of NASCAR tire models, Gen 4 stock cars, some IndyCar physics refresh, just
Mm,
a lot of things that we'd hope like iRacing would be doing in the background. Another thing that, as a Formula guy, I'm excited about is they are starting to do some new mapping and release the track of the Miami GP. So that will
Nice.
be
oh,
available here shortly down in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium slash parking lot. So that'll be super cool. And it'd be awesome if they start putting some of the street courses in the formula. Like it would be cool for a Singapore. I mean, really, Monaco would be a dream, really. That I mean, I think that's would never happen, but maybe
mhm,
don't never say never. Um, but yeah, like this is stuff that we'd hope iRacing would be doing, and it seems like they are doing. But I guess, gentlemen, let me question for you. Put you on the spot here. Is
mm,
you had one silver bullet to give iRacing to go do to update? What would it be?
Mm.
mm.
Well, you think
That
about that. If to listeners, the Chicane Podcast at Gmail, you got a silver bullet for iRacing for one update for them. What would it be? And I'll throw you mine if you guys are still thinking about it. Find a way to do if you get hit from behind, if your bumper gets hit, you shouldn't get incidents for it. Or some way to fix the incidents that truly aren't your fault. Don't get
Yeah.
penalized for them.
like bump drafting.
Or like
Bump
if
bump
somebody comes
drafting is a
if we're going into the first corner and I'm braking and you just
Mhm.
either didn't see me braking or think your brakes are going to stop you in time and you hit me from your front bumper on my back bumper,
Yeah.
I shouldn't get, what is it, 4 incident points
so
for
better
contact?
stewarding is what you want.
Yeah, some type of way to keep that. It just
I'll piggyback on that with you, bro.
okay.
So I would
Mm,
want the same thing with a caveat, and or not a caveat, wrong choice of words, like addition. Um, is that if I report an incident and I send you a video and I send you, meaning iRacing, I send iRacing a video and it clearly shows it's not my fault. You should be able to remove points from, you should be able to go back and penalize or make the changes accordingly, just like they do in league racing,
Okay.
like
mm.
reestablishing positions or penalizing people, like give them a 10-second penalty after the review of the race. It's a service and we're paying for it monthly. So it's not like, people are doing this for free. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. No,
Yeah.
hey, you had a silver bullet. That's
That's what
I
I
could
would
get
want.
behind that effort.
Yeah, that's true.
That'll
I
fix
agree
the
with that.
whole rules thing about, well, what if somebody just came out of nowhere and hit me? Sometimes I get a +4. I didn't even see the guy, you know?
That happened to
Mm,
me the other
yeah.
day. I'm driving around, I look up, I'm like, +4. I didn't even touch anybody. Or I didn't
Yeah.
nobody touched me, I didn't think. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
Man.
All right. So
all
is
right.
that it? Is that
I
it
think
for
that's about
iRacing?
it.
Oh, whoa. Dude, this is a long
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah,
big
that's
one here.
long.
update.
This is still more
Whole
of some of the UI in sim
This,
UI.
this iRacing 2.0, ain't it?
Bro, look at these graphics. Where'd this come from? I don't know, but I like it.
You kind of
RIP
forget
storage
about them though.
space.
Look at
You
the
forget
detail that they're working, like the
barbed
knots that the
wire
cables are in. That's wild.
fence.
Oh yeah. That sounds about like iRacing.
Bro,
Mm, shit.
updating seats and curbs. Jeez. Wow. I can't wait, fellas. I can't
Yeah.
wait.
That's what's
Yep.
up, man. I'm excited. It should be out
Mm.
here in a few days, and then of course we'll go over about these new cars. I might pick them up because they're technically free because you're gonna get that money back. Promise you.
Yeah.
So with that, uh, yeah, poor Jeff. Jeff's got track of the week today. And what track are we talking about today, brother?
Well, we're going to continue our new tradition of track of the week here. And since I think we're all doing our favorite tracks, I think everybody knows where I stand on this. And
Oh, we
today,
know, man.
Yeah.
we're going to
Heard it
talk
once or
about
twice.
Spa. So, without further ado, here we're going to do a quick. I'm going to show everybody a quick overview. Yeah, it looks like I see it on. Looks like Erick's got it, and I see it on Jason's pit wall there. So,
Yes,
um,
sir.
but here it is for those that aren't
Dude, that was
intimate.
completely unplanned. I hope
Yeah,
you know.
Yep.
unplanned.
Just
So,
locked in, man.
but all right, so I'm gonna start with a quick background here while everybody's looking at the track there. Spa started in 1920s in the town of Spa. They had a 15-kilometer public road circuit surrounded some of the nearby hills. Shortly after, it was deemed too dangerous, so they had to kind of clear out, change it up just a bit. But they had their first race, which is the French Grand Prix in 1921.
Mm,
Damn.
man.
Yeah, 15-kilometer race. That's wild, right? Um,
Sheesh.
so after right after they did some changes for safety purposes. And if you're changing it in the 20s for safety, I can't imagine what it was so wrong, what was that bad about it. So, anyways, so in 19, this is crazy, fellas. In 1924 was the first 24 hours of Spa. Let that
Wow.
sink
Wow.
in. Like,
That's
what type
100
of
years ago
100
That's
today.
years ago
crazy.
they were racing cars for 24 hours. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, I mean, I
I
it
can't
makes me want to
imagine
kind of
what
go
kind of,
research
yeah.
like what type of maintenance and failures were they expecting of cars in the 20s for 24 hours. That's
Man.
wild. Um, so in 1930, they underwent significant modifications to change some of the safety factors, and which is interesting, to add some accommodations for for the spectators. So it's starting to gain
Mm.
traction here, become a major track, if you will, here. But okay, this is where I need to put my caveat or my asterisk here. I am public school educated in the Northeast, so please, if you're from Europe, I'm about to butcher some names here. So please forgive me here. Um,
Yeah, be nice.
it's my favorite turn on the whole damn track, and I don't can't really pronounce it rest, but En Rouge and La Source remain unchanged from 1920, excuse me, 1939. 90 years,
Wow.
that stretch of pavement hasn't changed, and it's still some of the most interesting testing asphalt in the world. That's wild to
That's
think about
crazy,
that.
bro.
Yeah, no.
It's
Yeah,
that old. And when, oof,
It,
yeah,
the amount of wreckages on that.
yeah. I mean, just like
oh yeah.
you don't like you could probably pick like that 100-yard stretch, or let me go since it's in Europe, 100-meter stretch of track, and anybody that follows motorsport would know that that's Spa. Like
Yeah.
there's not a
Yeah.
lot of other tracks
It's
that you could
iconic,
pick.
bro. It's known for that.
Yeah,
Straight
and
up.
I
oh,
agree.
it just is. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm gonna move on here. So kind of remains really untouched and updated during the war. But after the World War II, here it came back to life and hosted a majority of motorsports events. Um, the first Belgian Grand Prix at Spa was just after the war in 1950, I believe, and that's where it established itself as a fixture. in the F1 calendar, and
Wow, dude.
yeah, it is the
70
largest
plus.
track
Yeah,
on the circuit. And we can talk
man.
about why the large track took George Russell's championship or GP win away this year. After still a little sore about that. Um,
It's been a while, man.
yeah. So
Yeah.
here's another interesting point. Um, by the 60s, though, the original layout of the track became increasingly dangerous as the speed of the cars increased and technology advanced. It was so dangerous that in 1970, F1 pulled Spa from the calendar until they made
Wow.
changes. Um, yeah, so they've had, I think they had a handful of deaths that really made F1 reevaluate, and they uh, obviously Spa Motor Speedway has made the changes because obviously they're back, but currently they have 17 versions or updates over the years. And the most recent update to the track was in 2022, and they currently have four versions of the class to suit the class of racing. They have numerous cars. They have motorcycles there, but just an awesome, iconic track. But Spa is a favorite amongst the drivers and fans. It is a mixture, in my opinion, here, the perfect mixture of high speed straights, technical corners, tight, short or tight, slow corners that you have to tiptoe around. And it
Yeah.
just like if you're next time you get in there, just drive it and you look around, you're like driving through some awesome countryside and like it's chiseled out of the
Mm,
trees, out of the forest through the countryside. And honestly, like
mm,
I think the last couple of years at F1 has the weather has played a role there too, where it's just your like perfect quintessential racetrack where it is elevation changes, great
mm,
tight turns, fast turns, elevation. The weather plays a role. In the direction of the sun, the sun to your back. Just a awesome track. So it's really cool. So now that you guys are looking at the track here, a lot of people think that it starts down the main straightaway up through where I'm going to butcher it here again, Eden Rouge and through the straightaway, but it actually starts here by La Source before the La Source hairpin corner here. As they come down this way, make the corner, and then go back and around. Um,
mm.
the F1 pits are over just before the start finish line. I think the other pit section that they have here is after the hairpin turn here. But yeah, so we could talk real quick. Interesting is this is the only track on the F1 circuit that they don't have an outlap, if you will. So the cars come by and they cross the start finish line and the race is over. So traditionally, every other track they go all the way around again, but because the track is so long, they'd be like, the cars are going to be gone for like 20 minutes before they come back, as they're moving at, idle speed more or less. So they have them go in the pits backwards and just come right in and they do the victory celebration, guys get out of the car, pump up the crowd, whatever. Because of that, and this is my opinion of speculation, obviously Mercedes isn't going to say anything, but George Russell didn't have enough time to go back around the track and pick up rubber that wasn't off the racing line. Is he going to pick up, what was it, 3 kilos? Jason, I don't remember um,
Sheesh.
the weight that he was under, but
That
he
sounds
didn't
right.
have the chance to go around like they always do at every other chance. It's like free weight, right? They just pick it up and it's not going to hurt me. It can only help me because I'll make weight. Didn't have a chance to do that. Cross the cross finish line. Obviously, he only did one pit stop, which was, the reason he won. Everybody else did too. Came in
Mm,
and missed weight.
mm,
Interesting story of this last F1 season in Spa. But um, yeah, really interesting track, beautiful countryside. I would love, definitely on my bucket list of tracks to go and attend. Here is kind of like a satellite view, or if you're flying over a plane,
Yeah.
really like super out in the middle of nowhere. Like, yeah, I mean, like
that's
there's just
crazy.
nothing out here. Um,
It's like farmland or something. Looks like
But
it.
Jason, like you said last week about the go-karts, look at this little guy over here.
I don't if we gotta
Mm,
I gotta make sure. It
That
kind of
sure, now I'm zooming in here.
look
Like that sure looks like a go-kart track, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Definitely
I
does.
see I see rumble strips there, man, and
Yeah, I
everything.
mean, it's like a thing. But anyways, gentlemen, I love the track. It takes a while to learn because it's so long,
Yeah.
but it just feels like it has a little bit of everything. What do you
Yeah,
guys have any comments about it?
I do, man. There's this wow. So this track's been featured in many like sim titles, all of them. I think we
Yeah.
looked back and we were doing research and all the way back from
Yeah,
the NES game, I think it was the
yeah,
first
it's
one.
sorry about I
Yep.
left this out. This is a super interesting. Michael Andretti's World GP in ready December 9th of 1988.
Yeah, man.
Jeez.
Spa was in. That's
Yeah.
The
wild, and
OG
it's been in
NES days.
yeah, it's been in what we probably maybe 20, 25 titles since then. Um,
Yeah, and it's gonna be in every
Yeah.
major sim game permanently. That's a staple. This track is legendary.
yeah, I
It
mean,
Yeah.
looks
it's
like
like
a it looks like an axe or like a Uzi or something. That's what it looks like to me.
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Same.
love Spa. It's one of my favorites. I gotta admit, it's there's
Yeah.
no
It's a fun
problem.
track.
Spa comes up on the calendar, I'm racing, 100% every
Like,
time.
my only problem with the iRacing is, dude, qualifying when it's at Spa takes forever because it's a huge track and you get 2 laps at it, right? It
Yeah.
just is like, "Gentlemen, can we just all agree to do 1 lap and then hit ready for race?" Like, let's go. Qualifying takes
Oh
forever
yeah, you don't want to
anyways.
be that guy.
Because
Trust
you got the
me.
out lap, and then you got
Yeah.
your 2 go laps, and then you can, like, it just is, oh, it takes forever.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate the coverage on this week. Again,
Yeah.
we're still beta testing this on the show. Track of the week is a new thing that, well, we all got together and figured, hey, it'll be nice to know where you're racing and what exactly, why is this a classic track? Why is it so popular? Why is it iconic?
Yeah.
And here on the show, we're trying to help bridge the gap. And if you guys have any questions for us on the show, please email us at the podcast at gmail.com. And yeah, man, we'll also be open to suggestions. If you guys have any suggestions for the next track of the week, we'll also take those into account.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
My
We're
pleasure.
at the we're yeah, man. We're approaching is too. We're having too much fun, man. We're we're approaching our time limit here. I just wanted to do a round table and check with everybody to see if there's anything else that you would want to share out on the show before we go.
Yeah. I'll just say I'm ready to run some more races, man.
There you go, man. It There's nothing wrong with that, Eric. That is
Yeah.
that is
Eh,
that is totally acceptable, brother.
I got a quick admission. I booked hotels for Singapore in 25.
You did? Oh no.
I can
Hey,
always cancel, but at least I got them. At least I got
listen,
them.
Yeah.
you need to go back and check out basically Jeff's episode
Oh
of
yeah.
his time in Singapore. I'm still mad and jealous at the same
It's
time
far enough
because
out,
Yeah.
buddy.
I
Me
was
Just under
too.
a year now.
yeah, I know. I was supposed to go with him, but some things came up and I couldn't make it. But maybe for 25, man. Let's see what happens for 25. I might have to break the bank.
If you're listening
And
out there, go to an F1 race. You won't regret it.
there you go. There you go. All right. So I don't have anything else to put out, guys. I'm just very thankful to have everybody back here safely. And to all you listeners and viewers out there, please have a great start of your week. Thank you.